Máme historicky najnižšiu nezamestnanosť.
We have the historically lowest unemployment. We can continue to state, dear friends, that wages will rise. Real wages will rise next year. Likewise, we can say that there will be great pressure on the minimum wage, which is gradually approaching almost 1,000. It's a matter of a short time. We can naturally talk about many external factors, but overall, I think that although it was a dirty job, not our fault, we did the dirty work for someone else. So I believe that the approval of the state budget, if we manage it in a reasonable time, let's say within 2 weeks, creates an absolute premise for the elections to be in 2027. I repeat once again, I acknowledge that this country is facing big problems. We are an extremely export-oriented country. We are open. We feel anything. The working meeting of Smer acknowledges the information about the proposal to exclude Smer, Slovak Social Democracy, from the Party of European Socialists, known as PS, due to the enshrinement of 2 genders in the Constitution and the participation of the party chairperson in the celebrations of the victory over fascism in various places around the world, including Russia and China. The proposal for exclusion is the result of a long-term gradual distancing of the authentic Slovak left from Brussels' ideas about what values and priorities they should promote, leftist and social democratic parties. Unfortunately, also about the place of peace in European integration and in peace policy. The Working Congress regretfully states that the Party of European Socialists does not want to allow the presence of the party representatives at the Congress, where the exclusion is to be decided. I was told that some German colleagues get nervous when we celebrate the victory over fascism. The Spitzenkandidat made a statement on behalf of Germany that he does not wish for me to meet with Putin and Xi Jinping, saying that socialists cannot accept friends of Putin or the Chinese president. I am not friends with Putin and Xi Jinping. We are colleagues, and my duty is to meet with them. On the contrary, I think many speak out of jealousy because they will never get within 3 kilometers of them in their lives, let alone negotiate matters that are important for Slovakia. Until now, the Brussels left doesn't want to understand, so I will politely call it that if you want to survive in a specific country, you have to make policy for that specific country. You can't just follow the policy dictated by Brussels. Simply, it doesn't work like that. For God's sake, what am I supposed to ignore? Dear friends, when I asked you how many of you go to church on Sunday, maybe 3/4 of you would raise your hand, because that's normal, because that is Slovakia. And should I ignore that? Should I ignore the historical roots on which this country was founded? Should we pretend that we will be different and that we will re-educate the citizens of the Slovak Republic to something that simply doesn't work? But surely we have other priorities. Leftist politics cannot be about homosexuals, for Christ's sake. Who is hurting them? And constantly around LGBTI. No one here is hurting them. No one. And I consider the decision we made defining marriage as a unique union between a man and a woman, establishing 2 genders and other things, to be extremely important. The Working Congress instructs all its representatives at all levels of parliamentary and governmental power to consistently advocate the concept of a sovereign Slovak foreign policy and positions oriented to protect the national state interests of Slovakia in all areas, especially in ensuring an adequate supply of energy at reasonable prices. Mr. Minister, what rank do we currently have among the most monitored orders? 7th, 8th, so far 9th, but we are working to be 8th. Okay, we have the 9th strongest rank in the world, and if you consider where you can get with that rank without results, out of 183 countries, we are 9th, the strongest rank, because we negotiated a visa-free agreement with China. We have a visa-free agreement with Vietnam, and there are more and more countries joining, which is very important for mutual relations and for business. Therefore, a sovereign foreign policy oriented in all 4 directions is not a cliché. It is a real effort that we perform on a daily basis. We are struggling a lot with these energies now. We are struggling a lot. I am observing decisions that I do not always understand, now fully support China. We are being threatened that if we do not stop importing oil and gas from the Russian Federation, some tariffs will also be imposed against us. January 1st repowering is set to take effect in 2028, which means we will not be able to import Russian gas from Turkstream as we do today. I'm not even mentioning oil. There is an awful lot of dirty politics involved. It's not about any principles at all. Everyone wants to profit from it. Unfortunately, we went from being a country at the beginning of the pipeline to a country at the end of the pipeline. And at the end of the pipeline, you can face big problems. We cannot support repowering, and we will not do it. We know where we are and what we want, but we cannot agree with every nonsense. That is our sovereignty, that when something happens in the Union, we come and say, we have a different opinion, and we have the right to a different opinion. We sent about 6 tons to Gaza, 6 tons of humanitarian aid. It was dropped by parachutes over Gaza via Jordan, and hundreds of families in Gaza certainly benefited from having basic food supplies available. That is the approach. Likewise, please, let us not be swayed when we have made a clear stance on the war in Ukraine. We will not supply or donate any weapons to Ukraine. That stands. If they want to buy something, they are welcome to do so. If we don't sell it, someone else will. But we will only help where it is humanitarian.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.